It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.
Podcast. Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take it. Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
I was honestly grooving away in my seat at that song.
Right? Because we are looking at a beach today.
Oh, crap. I didn't get mine going.
Charlotte.
I know. And we didn't sync it up either. Okay. Everyone who's on the video, let's start it over in 3, 2, 1. Go to the beginning.
Everyone who started when you were supposed to start, I'm with you. Like, I am watching the video as planned.
It's funny because I was wondering why you were singing that song. Oh, boy.
Welcome to episode 6?
6?
Oh my.
6 episodes.
We're like
Who would have thunk it?
We're like a pilot season now of a show.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Yeah. And today, we're killing it, as our devoted listeners will have noticed.
Yeah.
And this is a very special episode, Charlotte.
It's a very special, actually, for more than one reason. This is a landmark episode for several reasons.
I was just about to say yes. Oh, there's so many reasons. Okay, you started off, Charlotte.
I feel bad saying this one first. Okay, these are in no particular order. But everyone, this call is taking place on my very own brand new Blackberry Classic.
Oh, seriously? I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh my God, I'm too excited. I literally have not been able to stop playing with it since I bought it.
You got a Blackberry Classic.
Yeah.
So what is that? Standard little sort of deal that looks kind of like a... Oh man, what does it look like? A very large, wide bar of soap? That's terrible, Dave. God.
I honestly can't believe you called that you used those words. Okay, the Classic. The Classic is the new Blackberry, the brand new Blackberry. It just got released in December, I think. And it marks the return, for all you Blackberry aficionados out there, of the Blackberry button and the trackpad, both of which were missing off of the Q and Z, Q10, Z10, Q5, Z5.
I like to think of it as both of them had been improved upon in subsequent versions, but you know.
No, because I would play with the Z and the Q10s if people ever had them, and I honestly, it really devastated me because I use the trackpad and the Blackberry button all the time. And if you know me, you will know that I'm afraid of birds, number 1. I love Celine Dion, number 2. Number 3, I refuse to type on a touch screen.
You know what? I love to fight you on this, but I don't disagree. I'm used to it. I've been using iPhones for 5 years or something like that, but it was tough. And I'll be honest with you, I would rather have not done it.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a great advance to have keys. Like, this is what we're humans. We're dexterous. It's so much handier to use your thumbs and to feel keys. And typing on this keyboard, I had a BlackBerry Torch before, which had a slide out keyboard. My phone had issues it was 4 years old. She was an old girl. Typing on this keyboard is a dream. A dream.
Well,
BlackBerry's paying me nothing to give this endorsement, by the way. This is how much I love this phone.
This is for free, folks. BlackBerry, you're getting all those sweet Great Canadian pod dollars. At gmail.com, everybody. And we also, so let's move on, because we can get back to phones, because I know that there's someone here who could weigh in on such a topic. So another reason why this is a landmark episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Probably a much better reason than my new phone also.
Probably. Although for entertainment value, I think they're about, just because when you get Charlotte going off on phones, and especially Apple technology, it's as hilarious
and BlackBerry
as the best of it, and BlackBerry.
I almost love BlackBerry as much as I hate Apple. Almost.
This is our first call-in episode where we have a call-in guest, and that guest just so happens to be the third link in the clan of children. It's Jasper. I don't know why I felt like announcing you like Rod Roddy.
That was good, real good. It's Jasper!
Jasper, get on down!
It's me! Oh, I'm not sure I can live up to that intro.
Well, what did we tell you, Jess? You let us do the talking for a little while, right? Now you see what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone gets really nervous to come on here. It's like, what do you think? Like, we're just a couple idiots talking about nothing.
Yeah, that's not what this is at all, clearly.
No.
No, not at all. So am I the very first phone-in guest here?
Mm-hmm.
Very first.
Oh, wow.
You're the maiden voyage, Jess.
So really, this could go one of two ways. This could be, a landmark episode, and everyone will just, follow this formula for years to come. This is how to do it. Mm-hmm. Or it will get tossed as a pilot, and no one will ever see or hear this again.
No, we're going to be doing this call-in thing because we actually have a fair number of people who really want to be on the podcast, but aren't convenient to be in studio, as they might say, with me here in Edmonton or with Dave in London. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a recurring theme.
This is
it's an honor to be to starting the trend.
Jasper, it's good to have you here.
Yeah.
Wow, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, can I just would like to get a little something out of the way here. Jasper.
Yeah.
Could you tell the people, so we're on episode 6 right now, how many of the 5 episodes and the 2 shorts, the Great Canadian Snippets, that are now online on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Canadian.
Check them out if you haven't already.
Snippets.
If you haven't listened to that, I recommend you go give her a listen. Jasper, give me you can round up if you want. How many of those have you given a listen to?
Does this one count?
No.
No. I'm gonna have to go with the Nun.
Our very own brother. I called him the other day to sort of pilot out the call-in segment to see, like, he was very good to be the guinea pig, and we tested out a couple different programs and stuff, and he asked me some question that led me to believe that he hadn't been listening, and I said, wait, have you listened to the podcast?
Was the question something like...
I've been meaning to get I haven't listened. Jasper!
Yeah, I don't really have a rebuttal for that.
Mm-hmm. As you shouldn't. What would you even say?
The facts are the facts, Yeah. It's I could even try it. You know what?
No, I think just leave it.
Okay.
It's enough to know that our faithful listeners are at home shaking their heads going, Jasper, what are you thinking?
Charlotte, he's an artiste. he's been in his electronics studio just like making magic happen on helicopters. Like, he doesn't have time for the frivolous pleasures of the flesh and or ears.
Right. Pleasures of the flesh. Ew.
Sorry, that's kind of gross. I didn't mean to go there. What I meant was, luxuries and entertainment and stuff.
Right.
Oh.
Speaking of helicopters, Jasper, why don't you tell the people what you do for a living?
Oh.
When you're not on the podcast.
For a living.
When I'm not on the podcast or listening to the podcast, I'm an avionics technician.
And what does that mean?
That means I am an airplane electrician.
Uh-huh. And so, for the people out there that may not know why an airplane would need a electronics technician, what sorts of things do you do?
Well, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but do pretty much everything. No, it's...
Oh.
Yeah.
That horn has been tooted.
No, we look after, like, the radios and the GPS systems and all the other fun stuff. If you're watching like on WestJet or something else, there's no sponsorship on here. I don't have to be branded to a particular airline in general, do I?
No.
Okay, perfect. So let's just use, say WestJet for an example. If you're watching TV on your flight, well, that's kind of what I do.
Hey, Jasper, the TV wasn't working on my flight on the way back to Edmonton on Christmas.
I must have missed that one. Yeah. I must have missed that one. I mean, nobody's perfect here.
Everyone around me's watching TV. I'm just sitting there like an idiot. And then every once in a while it would come on. The guy beside me is like, oh, you have to hit this brightness button. I'm like, yeah, buddy, it's not my first rodeo. I know how the button thing works. It wasn't working. Back up off me, brah.
This poor guy had no idea he was sitting next to Charlotte of the Great Canadian Podcast.
No, it's just, there's...
By the way, gang, if I may interject loudly, I know I've already done that. I have an airplane thing to say. Jasper, if you could talk to your buddies at the airlines and just get them to change some company policy, I would really appreciate it. So, we recently took a flight with a group that I play in, and one of our cases was broken.
Okay.
And this is a flight case. It's in the name. Like, it's meant to be put on a plane. It's plastic, so it's not one of the huge hardcore road cases that you'll see that you typically think of when you see bands that are like the panels with like the stainless steel sort of rivets or whatever you'd call them. Jasper, you probably know the word for them.
Not a clue what that name is.
All right. So
and I gotta say, I'm just picturing like a case with all sorts of stickers all over it. Like, you see the guitars in the cartoons and they just like got Florida. I don't know. Like...
That's pretty much what it is. But anyways, it's this gigantic plastic rectangle, hard plastic, and like there's foam on the inside, but they managed to take like an entire corner of it off, and the keyboard on the inside was damaged. And so here's why I bring this up, because I think it's kind of just laughable. Their policy when they do this is leave the item in question in their custody for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and they're going to try to repair it. Here is thing number one that's wrong with that. Who is going to leave anything at an airport for 2 weeks? These are things that you carry your stuff in. They're basically telling you walk out with all your in your arms like an you. That's going to be fun to censor.
Wait. So they're going to repair the case or the keyboard?
They're going to repair the case.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the keyboard. I'm like,
yeah.
Why do they have a keyboard technician sitting around at WestJet or whatever?
Do they have a case technician? This is high quality equipment too, just the case. What are they going to do? Duct tape it? Are they going to
Let's hope. Imagine you came back after 2 weeks and it was just duct taped. When you'd be like, what the hell?
And the policy goes on to say that if they can't fix it after 2 weeks, then they'll call you and something. I have no idea. I can't imagine why it would be cheaper for them to keep some sort of maintenance man on salary to fix these sorts of things and pay for materials and whatever than to just shell out the, $400 or $600 for a new case or whatever it is. It's probably less than that. Mm-hmm. But
so
that
here's
not
my theory.
Insanity? Sorry, Jess, go ahead.
So here's my theory on that. I see a number of people sitting around at the discussion meeting for this. What do we do when something breaks? So let's just say person A turns to person B and says, okay, if we say we're going to fix it, what is the minimum time that it would take for you to say, just don't worry about it? Because would it be 2 days, 3 days? It's like, what if we just say, okay, 2 weeks? And then I bet you the majority of the public just says, 2 weeks, nah, forget about that.
Yeah.
But if it were 2 days, I would guarantee the end result is going to be the same. I'm sorry, Mr. Usselman, but there's nothing we could do. This is some black plastic. Black plastic just isn't everywhere,
It's much more expensive than other colors of plastic. Red is surprisingly cheap this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. Apple had the same problem with their phones. We can't deliver the white one because the white plastic is so much more difficult to find and make.
Is that a serious thing?
Hey, that happened with the 5 or the 5S or something like that.
The white plastic people got screwed over.
Yeah, the white phone was delivered months later.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's that dyeing process. I picture all the plastic coming off the line white, I figured that'd be the default.
They even make plastic.
I don't know.
I'm just envisioning iRobot right now. Anybody else?
I'm picturing
No.
I'm picturing just like a plastic fan and like a boop boop boo 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 boop boo.
I'm gonna lasso up this conversation and say let's move on.
Well,
Okay, all right.
Whatever you want, Charlotte.
I think when we're talking about dyeing plastic and what a plastic factory looks like, it's time. It's time to go.
I think the people would be
I'm not-
fascinated. And hey, before you use your figurative lasso, I have a question to ask the scientist.
Oh God.
What do we think of this?
Is this the first iteration of our brand new segment?
Ask a scientist.
Notice that Dave did not try to include me on that song. Again, a reference to our Great Canadian Snippet, number 2.
Charlotte, the scientist.
I feel like that was too close to Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, that was pretty much a direct ripoff. My question is thus.
Wait. Let's explain the segment really quick.
Yes, please.
The idea is that you people, you great Canadian listeners, you great Canadians, if you have a science question, send us an email at greatcanadianpod@gmail.com. And this is to follow up. I think we talked about the time I got my oil changed, that a lot of times when people find out I'm a scientist, I get questions. And I think we talked about Dad gets these questions too. And people assume that because you have your PhD and you're a scientist that you know the answer. And to all sorts of questions, and I was saying that even something neuromuscular, I had no idea. So the idea is you hit us with your science questions, and I don't care what kind of, just any kind of science question, and I am going to try to make up the answer, as a real scientist should. I'm going to work on my dadisms. I'm going to come up with an answer, and then we're going to look it up the next week, and we'll see how close I got, and we'll tell you the actual answer. So how's that?
I would like to say that this is my favorite segment.
I think this is going to be a
Because
beauty.
you've heard so many segments. Oh, boy.
I
right.
predict a lot of mileage. Charlotte,
Hit me.
how do you make plastic? I had a question before and it sucked, and this one's way better.
Oh, God. How do you make plastic? Well, plastic, the constituent components are, I'm going to go
See, she's already distracting you with big words.
isn't polyethylene, isn't that part of plastic? And I want to say ethylene is like a polycarbonate chain. So I'm going to say it involves, what do you even put into plastic? What do you need to make plastic? Some sort of polymers? And melting? And hardening? And rinsing? And curing?
Okay. Plastic is obviously like a leather handbag of some kind.
That best concludes my answer.
And then you have to tan the plastic.
Wow, that was a really hard one.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry. But that was, no, you know what, Charlotte?
You know what's funny is even as I was talking, I could hear Dad chuckling from Ontario.
I think this is the layman's 2 cents here, but I think you hit upon all the important buzzwords. Poly and hardening, and
Yeah, don't forget the melting.
Yeah, and the
course.
melting. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't do the hardening without the melting first.
And I think that the consensus from our description earlier was that there's some sort of conveyor belt involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So next week I'm gonna look it up, and I'm sure there's tons of different kinds of plastic. So I'll look up how you make the plastic for the iPhone covers, if I need to be a little bit more narrow in my search, and we'll get back to you.
A scientist.
And if you have a question for a real life scientist, email us at Great Canadian Pod, and your question will be featured on the podcast. Let's hear a few more tunes from our lady, and then we're gonna get to something that we have been pitching. Jasper, you wouldn't know this. We've been pitching for weeks since the inception of the podcast.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. You've been waiting very patiently. Charlotte, you take it away.
We're gonna hear about cat herpes.
Woohoo!
Cat herpes, Jasper. Every week we've been saying we're gonna have a guest on once we figure out the technology of the call-in, and they are gonna tell us about cat herpes. And this was so early on that actually our first guest on the show was Erin, and she came on. We had to tell the people, no, this is not the person that's gonna tell us about cat herpes.
Sorry, everybody. And Erin's
she
been
looked at
getting
me.
angry emails ever since.
Yeah, she looked at me with big eyes, like, what? No, we're going to talk about cat herpes? Like, no, don't worry, it's not you. So, Jasper, the people have got to be dying to know by this time. First of all, why would you talk about cat herpes? Second of all, what do you know about cat herpes? Hit us with the story.
Well, I would, as the leading Usselman researcher in the field of cat herpes,
Right.
No
while
argument
not
here.
actually owning a cat myself, I would also like to add in there. It is a pandemic, or is it an epidemic? That's another scientist question right there.
Do not
What
know the
is-
difference.
What is the difference?
I think
No idea.
I think pandemic is an adjective and epidemic is a noun.
So,
No, but
Hold on.
epidemic can be used as an adjective too. Go, Jazz. Go, Jazz.
Pan means across. I don't know what epi means. All right, go ahead. Maybe pan is geography. I don't know.
That's
This
good.
Ask a Scientist thing was really poorly thought out.
No, you
Go,
know what?
Jasper.
That sounds more reasoned and plausible than my wild guess. Jasper, you're on.
we could also, if okay, you could also say is pandemic regional and epidemic like something starting to spread. So, cat herpes. Here we go. Here is my knowledge on the situation. Coworkers of mine recently adopted a cat from the Humane Society, and so this cat they brought it home. The cat was only about a year old, and well, essentially the cat was not feeling well. It was sneezing a lot, not eating a lot, presumably visiting the litter box quite often. And so they took it to the vet and discovered it has cat herpes. Now, apparently, every cat that was in this cat kennel gets it. It is it's sort of a viral thing to cats. So if a cat sneezes on someone's clothing and another cat goes and smells it, well, boom, instant cat herpes transfer.
How is it even possible that this Humane Society is functioning? Like, shouldn't there be quarantines and whatnot?
Well,
Like, how are they
apparently-
just giving cats out and not being like, by the way, it has herpes?
Well, apparently it's just like the human equivalent is that you can never really get rid of it.
Yeah, I know,
It's
that's what I'm
just-
saying. So all these cats just have herpes forever. Shouldn't this Humane Society be doing everything it can to contain the spread of this disease?
Well, that would have been a very good question to ask. Yes, that's a good point.
Which Humane Society should we not say? Kind of want to know which Humane Society this is, so that the people in this region can look out.
Okay, well, if it's the region, let's just say it's in a region in between London and Toronto. But I don't want to name names because that would just be wrong. But we're a little west
You
of
wouldn't
Guelph.
be wrong. This herpes is spreading. What if someone in between London and Toronto is listening to this podcast right now and going, wait a minute, I want to adopt a cat?
For God's sakes, man, give me the damn name.
Go east, go east.
All right.
And by no means get a cat from the KW area.
Right.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say what it is, but it rhymes with Witchener, Godderloo.
Yep. It's yeah. So that is my knowledge on cat herpes. Now I'm sure you all are wondering. Go ahead.
But tell us the story. Tell the people the story that you told us. What happened when you went to the house and stuff like that?
Oh, so I was going over to I was going out for drinks with friends who had just adopted this cat, and so I went to the house to pick them up, and just as we walk in the door, the owner asked me if I'm going to be seeing any cats later. And as you know, I would think this is an interesting question to ask because it's indeed
That
entirely
is an interesting
random.
question to ask.
Yeah.
So I happen to say, well, yes, I'm going to later on today. I'm going to we're going to go to the parents' house there, which have a couple of cats. Getting up there in years, but still healthy as ever. So
They're relatively herpes free, if that's what you're wondering.
that's not to split hairs, but yes, there was, as far as we know or aware, they are herpes free. So it was okay. Well, if you can come into the house, I mean, their cat has cat herpes, and I may have raised an eyebrow to that. And it was, okay, we'll put your shoes off the ground. So put them in a, nook of something. And just don't sit in any cat hair and don't let the cat touch you. Or, because then you've got to go home and basically shower and change
Burn your clothes.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I decided to take the high road there, and let's just not go inside. So
Jasper,
that
bold move. I like it.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people would risk. They'd be like, what's the worst that could happen? Cat herpes. When you put cat in front of it, it really makes it sound kind of adorable.
Well, I gotta say, I wasn't even being selfish on this one. We all know the love that our mother has for these cats. And it would just be a disservice if and we would all feel terrible if something happened to these cats.
Mom, if you were at home wishing that Jasper had in fact gone in and got himself some cat herpes to take home, you should be ashamed of yourself.
No, because she would have to look after them then and take them to the vet and stuff like that. That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's true. And plus, I feel like it would hit a lot closer to home if Charlotte and I managed to pick some up and took them home to Oliver and Izzy, because there's Oliver is dangerously overweight. Let's just put it that way. An extra ailment he does not need.
He's a big, I remember, so as fans of the podcast know, Oliver I think we said this, Oliver used to be my cat. I used to have Oliver and Izzy. And then Dave graciously took Oliver when we were having cat issues.
Selflessly took Oliver.
Yes. And I had Oliver and Izzy at the vet one time, and they were getting weighed. And it's kind of hard because the scale is on the floor in the lobby, which whoever designed this does not have cats. Because, it is hard to make a cat stay, and they're terrified. So anyway, I put them on there and they just leave my hands on either side of them, but up in the air hovering because I know how to weigh something. I'm not an idiot. So I'm not sitting on the scale. So the lady sitting at the desk goes, okay, and put them on the scale and let go. I'm like, okay. She goes, ma'am, can you please stop leaning on the scale? And look at her I am not leaning on the scale. What? She's like, oh, good. Okay. Well, he is 25 pounds. 25? Is that what he was at the time? 25 pounds?
He's down to 21 and a half at last check.
Oh, he's been working out.
Yeah, he's been hitting
David's
the gym.
house is agreeing with him.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's because he spent so much time running away from me whenever I'm holding a guitar. He's probably just getting a lot more exercise than before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it would have been a nightmare if Oliver and Izzy would have got herpes, that's for sure.
We're all really glad that neither Oliver nor Izzy has herpes, and I gotta be honest with Jasper, I admire that move. I can't even say with any certainty that if they'd said, just don't touch the cat, don't touch any cat hair, I wouldn't have said, okay, and gone right in,
So, were you gonna hang out there for quite some time, or was this a matter of you picking them up?
It was going to be maybe one drink, and then we were gonna head out. So I would have been there probably, 20 minutes, half an hour.
So you just said no drink.
I just said no drink.
Good for you.
Yeah, I like it.
And we just went early to wherever we were going, earlier than we had planned on.
I like it. That is very assertive.
We at the Great Canadian Pod applaud that decision.
We salute you, Jasper.
Oh, why? Why, thank you.
We salute you in your efforts to keep our cats herpes free.
I'm just trying to do all I can, every little bit.
Yeah. And now our listeners can rest easy knowing what the cat herpes story was. Now we all know that cat herpes is a thing, because I didn't know cat herpes was a thing.
Nope.
And to proceed with caution, you know what? If Jasper can do it, you too can look at your friends who tell you their cat has cat herpes and just take off your shoes and try not to touch the cat and say, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks.
Just ask
I was
yourself,
listening to the
what
Great
would Jasper
Canadian
do?
Podcast. I was listening, and Jasper, the brother of the DJs, was on there. Great guy. And I'm living my life according to the decisions Jasper makes. Thank you very much.
They're all wearing What Would Jasper Do bracelets now.
Yeah. Which are, incidentally, very cheap to produce.
Yeah, What Would Jesus Do? Do you guys, what year was that when those What Would Jesus Do bracelets were so big? High school for me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So quite some time ago. Remember that? Everyone had those.
I
Yeah.
may have missed. I may have slept those couple years or however long that was going on. Those are not not bringing up any memories at all.
Get
Well,
out.
Charlotte, that was when you were in high school, so that must have been 1991, 92.
Me in high
93.
school?
Charlotte is
That-
seething on her end of the microphone.
Yeah,
right
the
now.
problem with an audio-only podcast is you can't read my facial expression, but I assume you can sense the waves of disapproval that are coming across my end.
94. It wasn't 90.
Jasper, I wouldn't be laughing because someone is the eldest sibling in our family, and it is not me.
Well, I didn't think we were going to go down this road.
Uh-huh. Chuckles over there. If I'm going down, I'm bringing everybody with me. Let's play inane questions with Jasper. Then he can experience his second segment, the second recurring segment on the Great Canadian Podcast.
Jasper, you're
All
getting
right.
on the ground floor of so many good
Yeah.
ideas here.
Yeah.
I would have to say this was my second favorite segment.
Yeah. All right.
There's some of that Usselman diplomacy at work. All right, Charlotte, you're right.
So I think inane questions is probably a pretty descriptive title of what we're going to do. And Jasper,
Yes.
do you use an electric toothbrush?
Yes.
How long have you been using your electric toothbrush?
I'm going to say probably 5-6 years.
And what got you onto it?
Really, it was all about the lack of effort required in order to use an electric toothbrush as opposed to the actual brushing motion.
And did you, Dave, Jasper, and I all had braces when we were little. Do you find it easier on your gums? Because I know for me, brushing, the up and down motion of the manual toothbrush was giving me some little gum recession. Notice anything
Yeah.
different?
That was another reason. That was
your-
recommended to me.
By your dentist?
Yes.
And are you noticing a difference now?
I don't think it's gotten any worse. So I would have to say the results speak for themselves.
Dave, do you use an electric toothbrush?
I do.
And do you love it?
I wouldn't say I love it. I mean, that's a pretty strong emotion to attach to one's feelings for a toothbrush.
Okay,
Some
well,
people are
let's
crazy about these things.
then
And-
let's rephrase the question. If yours broke tonight, would you go and buy another one?
I 100%
If I
would, yeah.
Oh, if mine broke tonight, yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I'm used to it. I like it, and I like the lack of effort as well. You know what I really like about it is it's a routine in and of itself because it tells you how long to brush your teeth for. That's perfect.
Do you go for the
Because-
full 2 minutes every time?
Until it vibrates, until it
Yeah.
goes shoot shoot. Yeah, of course. Don't you?
No, I almost
No.
never do. That's so long. Jasper,
Yeah.
do you?
Oh goodness, no.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Are you guys kidding me right now? No, that's why it does that. It's like your teeth are done being brushed now.
Yeah. There's also speed limits on the road, David. I don't follow all your rules.
Wow. Here we are. Okay, inane question number 2. Charlotte
Yeah.
and Jasper. Charlotte, you answer first. How many times a month do you wear an apron?
Do I wear a what?
An apron.
Oh, I would say like 0.1. I almost never wear an apron. The only time I would ever wear an apron is if I was A, baking something very messy, or B, cooking something very splattery. And in both of those situations, I would have to be wearing something nice. So I would have to have people over or some reason why I couldn't just be wearing grubby clothes that I could change out of after. So almost never.
Ah, yes. And it
Jasper.
probably has a lot to do with the fact that you don't have an apron with a picture of a hairy chest on it.
No, but I do have an adorable apron. Actually, Nicole gave me an adorable apron and matching mittens. And I also have a University of Western Ontario apron that I got for volunteering at an event once, and we had to wear our aprons for that. So I have 2 adorable aprons, and I just never wear either of them. Sorry, Nicole.
I have an apron that says shiitake happens on it with a
Yeah.
picture of a mushroom.
I feel like
I think-
someone amazing gave that to you.
I think it was Jasper. Jasper, how many times a month do you wear an apron?
I tell you what, I'm not even going to narrow this down to the month. I'm going to give you a more exact answer. Years. The answer is 0.
Yeah.
I was really hoping to get some. Jasper, you know what? That was aimed at you. Like, I just pictured you being at a cookout in the summer, and you're like, guys, step away from the grill, okay? Jasper's here.
I do have a nice apron somewhere as well. It's got something comical written on it. But yeah, I have no idea where it is right now.
Can we upload pictures of ourselves with our aprons for next week?
Yeah, of course we can. You know what? Maybe this will be a good time for the Great Canadian Podcast to get a Twitter account. We can tweet these pictures out.
I like it.
Yes, I would agree on that.
And then we can
try to get a picture of Dad too wearing his apron, because Dad has probably the best apron of all time.
I don't think there's a picture of Dad that exists on social media, so I think that'd just be a fun leap in and of itself. And then we can have our devoted listeners vote on who looks the best in their apron, whose apron is the funniest.
Who wore it best is the way they say it in the fashion magazines, David.
Who wore it best? Who wore it best? I like it.
Dave, tell the listeners, how often do you wear your apron?
Oh, exactly 0%. Even it was a lovely gift, and I haven't worn it once.
You know what, though? It's there. One day you're going to be at a cookout, or you're going to be cooking something splattery, and you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, I've got this hilarious apron.
Absolutely.
Well, this might be a good time to bring in our lady friend.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
All right, and we're on to the third segment of the podcast, and we need to kick it off with yet another recurring segment, Jasper, that you don't know about, is the TOP song of the day.
TOP!
So TOP stands for Tower of Power, and this is, we talked the other couple weeks ago about how, everyone, I think, needs music to get them through life, and that I've struggled with depression in the past, and I'm sure, it's a lifelong kind of thing, and I really rely on music to get me through. And these are songs that help you when you're down, or keep you up when you're up. Maybe you don't even have depression. You just really like to fancy yourself a tower of power. So these are all songs to get you going. And I have a good one this week. Well, they're all good. But I was reflecting today about a time when I was pretty down. And I think that a lot of the tunes I've been listening to lately... Actually, can I do 2 this week?
Oh, that's a bold move.
It's going to have to be TTOP, Charlotte. That doesn't really fit the imaging.
Well, now I've started it. Now I have to finish it. So I've been listening to real pump-up tunes, and great song is Inner Ninja by Classified. Do you guys know this song?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
And, the lyrics to that song, to me, are so badass, It's just about kind of dominating life and being like, I worked at this, and now I'm a friggin' inner ninja. And it's got clips from Beverly Hills Ninja at the beginning, which is pretty sweet.
Which is
great
wonderful.
Movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so then on that note, I think I need to go and I was thinking about this as I was walking home the one day, strutting my stuff, and I was thinking, a lot of the good Tower Power songs I'm listening to lately are because I've been more up, and these are songs to keep me up. But I do remember a time when I was pretty down, and you can't listen to Inner Ninja when you're sort of having a struggling kind of time. And a song that I listened to, I think probably daily, and really meant a lot to me, is a song called Keep Breathing by Ingrid, oh God, now I'm going to kill this, Michelson?
I want to say Michelson, but it's only because I've only ever read that name and I've never heard it spoken, and it's spelled Michelson. So that's my idea. Yeah.
So it's called Keep Breathing. I feel like you can Google it from that, Ingrid. She's she's more, I guess, most famous for singing the song The Way I Am. But Keep Breathing, I mean, to me, this song just means you don't need to get better. You don't need to be hard on yourself. You don't need to go get up and run a marathon. Just keep, and that's what she says. All I can do is keep breathing. And I think, and it's, and in terms of things that are great whenever they appear in songs, it builds over time. Dave and I have had many conversations about this.
We love a good build here at the Great Canadian Podcast.
Yeah. And preferably a build and a drop and then a crash back into it. Anyway, this is a buildy song, and I completely recommend it. If you are having a little bit of down day, just give this a listen. I think it will give you the comfort that you seek. Personal recommendation there. And if you're already up and at 'em, you give Inner Ninja a listen. That's a good song.
That's TTOPs for this week. And yeah, Inner Ninja is just fantastic. I took Charlotte and I were talking about the TOP songs before, and I listened to Ingrid Michaelson, and that's quality stuff. That's a good tune. I like your choices this week, Charlotte.
Thank you. Jasper, any TOP songs you want to throw out here?
No, but I realize I'm not a host of this program, but I just also like to say, this being a great Canadian pod, the little bit of classified East Coast CanCon there. That's
Get out! I didn't know he was Canadian.
Isn't it West Coast Jazz? Isn't he from?
No, he's from
Vancouver?
the Maritimes, isn't he?
I'm Googling it.
There we are. Ask a scientist.
I could have sworn he was from BC, but yeah, no, that's definitely a good call on the Canadian. Jasper, I like how you know when Canadian people are actually Canadian, which you don't have in common with one of our hosts.
That my searching completely vindicated me.
It's like sort of vindicated you, but it also proved that I was just as right.
Dave, are you ready to be wrong? He is from Nova Scotia.
Oh, baby. Well, I can admit when I'm wrong because...
0 for 3.
Wow. Okay, here's me not contesting that point. Not that
right.
I agree with it.
Okay, so let's get on to the meat of the podcast. Isn't that hilarious that we can record like 40 minutes of podcast and have no meat yet? I guess we had the cat herpes.
I thought the cat herpes was the headline and everything.
It was meaty. Yeah.
That's what we would write if we were looking for clicks. That's the headline is cat herpes.
I would really like to talk this week. So I'm on BuzzFeed a lot, as we've mentioned, and I think BuzzFeed and really the internet in general is just swarming with life hacks, beauty hacks, and I think we can go lots of different directions in this. I also there's some hilarious ones, obviously, and some of these videos are humorous, but a lot of them are genuine, and I think most of them are not ridiculous. Like most of them you go like, yeah, that is like, I suppose something that you could do, but is it really going to help? I will say, so one life hack that I actually do all the time. Have you guys read this one? That when you eat a banana, you should actually hold it by the stem end. And the first thing you peel is the other end. The end that has a little bit of a nubbin or whatever at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you bruise the top of the banana because you can't get that stem part off. If you open it at the nubbin end, first of all, you get the nubbin right out. So problem 1 solved. And you always get right in. There's no resistance. And you have a handy little handle because of the stem. So I legit only eat bananas like that now.
Charlotte, you have had a 100% success rate with this?
100%, yes.
Because when we're on the road, oftentimes when we get bananas as part of our like little backstage deal sort of thing, they'll clip them at like the stem, so like the top end is like exactly like the nub end, and I hate that because I can never get the bananas open because I got nothing to grab onto and leverage my way into the banana.
Go in nubbin end, Dave. Go in nubbin end. Report back.
But I will. I won't even fight that. I will, and I'll get back to you because I eat a lot of bananas. Bananas are great.
And I don't even think about it. When I'm eating my bananas, I don't think this is a great hack. It just makes sense to me. So I just do it legit all the time now. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Life hack number 2 that always makes sense and that I do all the time now. If you are keeping lettuce in your fridge, put a piece of paper towel in with your lettuce. This will absorb the extra moisture. If you replace that paper towel every maybe 3 or 4 days, or when it feels moist, it's not gonna be moist, it'll feel damp. If you replace paper towel when it feels damp, just toss it and put in a new dry one. Your lettuce, I kid you not, can last, and this depends obviously on the kind of lettuce. The spring mix is a little bit less, for over a week without getting all disgusting.
Question: does that apply to spinach?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, spinach. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's very exciting.
Life hack number 2. Now here's life hack number 3 that I do not do, and I watched a video that cited this the other day. If you have a headache, cut a lime in half and rub the lime on your forehead.
Get out of here.
And this was in a life hack video. Like, okay, those first 2 things I said, I feel like those are life hacks. This one, that is not a life. That is you trying to get poor people at home to rub a lime on their forehead. That's ridiculous.
exactly what that is. That's trolling people who are reading the life hack section. Does it work?
I cannot imagine. Because I think a lot of headaches, we had a postdoc in our lab who said whenever you get a headache, you should chug a bunch of water because you're probably dehydrated. And a lime on your forehead is not, I can conceive of no scientific rationale why that would work.
It just seems crazy enough to work, though. Like, we gotta try it.
No. What's it gonna do? You're getting, like, citrus on your skin? You're not getting a headache because your skin is, like, needs acetic acid.
It seems very circumstantial. And I mean, who's just keeping limes around? Who's got limes coming out the yin?
Yeah.
It's just like, well, I'll cut one of them in half and I'll rub it on my face. But I mean, that's so out there. Obviously, you got to try it.
No, I'm never trying that. You know what? If I've got limes, it means I've got Coronas, and I'll drink a Corona. How's that?
No, that's terrible. And you know, short rant. This is. I'm sorry, everybody. This is the internet influenced pedant in me. I don't even think this is pedantic. Can we stop calling them life hacks? Can we just stop? Can we call them tips like normal people? Because hacks is actually let me reference something that we touched upon last week. Charlotte, you mentioned your dislike for when people confuse their 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 THEER, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, THERE. The photo that I've seen a lot is there's going to be a lot of censors coming up here is THEIR equals it belongs to them. THEY apostrophe RE is they are. THERE is that place or something like that, and they were all kind of listed with the F word as part of the definition. It was like,
Ha ha ha. Those make me so upset too.
but I don't like how it's just like, yeah, spelling is cool because we swear. I just don't like that. Believe me, I am a fan of the art of cursing. Like when you swear and it's hilarious and when people can do it well, I think it's great. But I feel like that's pandering. Listeners, do you not? They are greatcanadianpod@gmail.com if you agree or disagree with old Dave here. And the life hacks thing, I feel it's in the same vein. It's just like, oh, hack. We grew up in the 90s. We know what hacking is.
I feel like
get
it's more
it.
of a 2000s thing.
Well, whatever it is, people at the inception of computers that we used, Game Sharks with our video games, and we all made websites on GeoCities and Angel Fire and stuff like that. We really feel like we've got the inside scoop on technology, and when people say life hacks, we're like, oh, that's for me. I get it. And I'm not even saying it's a bad term, but I'm just saying it's run its course. Let's go back to using tips. Life hacks is done. That's a Dave Great Canadian Pod prediction.
So it's would whoever coined the term life hack, would somebody just say, that's a good idea, but I want credit for it, so I'm going to call it something else?
It's like someone gave them a hot tip, and then they were like, oh, I'm going to call that a life hack and take credit for it?
Yes.
Probably. It's probably exactly what happened. I think that hot tip is a way better thing to say, and I'm going to coin that. There you go. Call them hot tips,
I like
everybody.
It. Yeah.
It's both funny and informative.
Do you think there's just some scientist in like a lab in like Pennsylvania who's just like, ooh, I discovered rubbing limes on your forehead. No one gives the credit to old Gert.
To old Gert.
Old Gert goes home to old Gert's apartment.
So do you guys have any
Gert scotch?
Do you guys have any life hacks or hot tips or life tips to share with the people?
I have one.
Go.
If you make your lunch for the next day at night, then you don't have to make it in the morning, and you can get out the door quicker. That's Jasper's life hack right there.
That's a hack as old as time, but that's a classic one. That's merits reminding people of that one. I like that.
But you can only do it with certain things. Like, you are limited. You can't put tomatoes in your sandwiches, right?
No, that's true. I make a salad. My salad is still good the next day.
You put tomatoes on your salad?
No.
I feel like you do have to be a little bit careful.
But I put salad dressing on my salad.
You do the night before?
The night before? That's crazy talk, Jasper.
I live on the edge.
You know what? I make my salad, and I use air quotes when I say make my salad. I put greens in a container the morning I go to school, and I still put my salad dressing in a separate container. Yeah.
No, I've been taking to having a wrap for lunch. So it's got a nice little tortilla shell, soft shell, and then you put some spinach in there and some pre-cooked chicken, another life hack, and some salad dressing, and then it's good till the next day. Put it in a nice container.
Pre-cooked chicken is a hot tip, Jasper. It's a hot tip.
That's right. Yeah, and I have so many of those. It'd be a shame to waste all of them right now.
Of your hot tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to keep.
He's just trying to get invited back, Charlotte. Don't listen to him.
Yeah. You know what? You have to do your homework, Jess. You're gonna have to listen to a podcast or two before we're gonna have you back on this puppy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
By the way, I would like to. This video that we're watching this week, I think 3-hour relaxing video is a little bit of a misnomer. I'm sure it's 3 hours long, but have we all, Charlotte? Have you caught the?
No, I haven't.
The loop yet? No, come on. Oh, it's easy. It's 20 seconds long or something ridiculous.
Shut the front door.
It's not 20 seconds. Sorry, that was an exaggeration. It's more like a couple minutes long.
Well, now I'm gonna be staring at it like a crazy person waiting for the loop.
Because I've been watching that like tire or stick, and I've been waiting for it to dissipate beneath the sand or get pulled out into the water, and it just keeps reappearing, and it's driving me nuts.
It's probably a root under the tree.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take it to Bahama. Mama,
No.
come on, pretty mama.
I feel like you did that wrong. I feel like those lyrics weren't right.
No, those weren't. And I sang that back in public school, if you can believe that. Like when everyone else was singing, I don't know, whatever song you sing in public school, our teacher decided to live on the edge and teach us. I think that song is called Aruba
No idea.
by the Beach Boys. Charlotte, I have one final question for you. Jasper, maybe you can weigh in on this.
All right.
What is Uber?
Yeah. What is Uber? Did anybody look it up?
No.
I can take a stab. Ask an avionics technician. New segment.
Yeah.
Ha.
Uber, I
Okay,
believe,
take a stab, Jess.
I believe it's a app where you just say like, "Hey, I'm here and I need to go there," and like people will enter in where they're going in their phone and say, "Oh, there's somebody else with the same location or same destination or en route or something," and it will pop up.
Wait, so like let's say I'm sitting in my apartment in Edmonton and I need to go downtown.
Yeah.
I get Uber and I look it up, and let's say that some guy, Joe, is driving by my apartment and is going downtown.
Yeah.
Does he like register his car and says I'm going downtown, or are these? What is the difference? Here's what I don't understand between this and a taxi company, because I feel like this idea has already been had a long, long time ago, and we call them taxis.
Yeah, I don't know about the fee thing, or if you do it, or like the other thing. Like Uber's only in certain cities right now, right? It's not, as far as I know, it's not everywhere yet.
So here's what I finally just Googled it. Wikipedia says Uber is an app-based transportation network and taxi company. So they're just basically a taxi company.
Oh, okay.
They're just an individual taxi company headquartered in California, and it operates in cities in many countries. The company uses a smartphone application to receive ride requests, because apparently we're too lazy to call a cab company now, and then sends these trip requests to their drivers.
Huh.
And then
Well,
customers can use the app to request rides and track the reserved vehicle's location. Yeah. And as of December 2014, that company is valued at $40 billion US.
Oh, man.
And then listen to this. This last line of the introductory paragraph says, since Uber's launch, several other companies have emulated its business model in a trend that has become to be referred to as Uberification. Like,
Oh
what
my
do you
God.
mean? They're copying the business model. This is like pizza companies now have apps and you can track your pizza online, but this is not like a new way of ordering and delivering. This is a slight modification on the taxi model, that there's an app. And that's really all that's different?
Maybe people were just ready for a change, Charlotte.
But I don't understand why people say I hopped into an Uber instead of I hopped into a cab.
People are awful. They
It's
wanna
still
say
a
that.
cab. Like, I feel like Uber has pulled the wool over the collective eyes of the world. And they're trying to trick us into thinking there's something new and exciting. You're just a cab company. I'm yelling at my computer now. You're just a cab company. Don't act like you're better than the other cab companies. You got an app.
Uber,
Like-
you're not special. And,
But Uber sounds hipster.
Yeah.
Cab doesn't.
Is that really what, I think that probably is what it is. People just got sick of saying taxi or cab. And an Uber just sounds cooler.
I would think cabs are more hipster because aren't they romantic and old-fashioned? Isn't that what the real hipsters are doing? Aren't your
That's-
stupid friends saying, "Oh man, we're gonna catch an Uber," and you're like, "I think I'm gonna take a cab."
Perhaps.
I have an idea for the Canadian Uber. We're gonna call it Igloober.
Oh!
Oh.
Don't
Right.
steal our business venture.
Right?
Right.
There's a reason they put this guy on the podcast airwaves.
All right, I think that's probably as good a place as any to wrap up. We've got our business ventures, we've got our recurring segments, we've figured out what Uber is, and it's nothing. It's nothing. I was hoping for something exciting and defining. It's just a cab company. For God's
nothing.
sake.
This was a great maiden voyage for our call-in segment.
Yeah.
Not even
Great.
segment, it's an
Jasper,
element.
did you enjoy yourself?
I did enjoy myself.
Would you
It's,
recommend the experience to a friend?
I would absolutely do that. Yes. Yes, I would
Or are
even
you
say
going to listen to the podcast in future?
on a 1 to 10, I will go with most likely.
And he was
What do you
never
say to
heard
that,
of
ladies
on the
and gentlemen?
podcast again. Well, thank you for joining us, Jasper. It was great to hear from you and great to spend an hour with you and to hear you talk about cat herpes.
Thanks,
Well-
Jess. Stay the f- away from my cat.
Thank you for having me. It's been a treat.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.